I thought I knew how I was going to start this video, and now that I'm trying to start it, my mind just went blank. I also thought I wasn't going to cry. Okay. I'm not. Though I can. Crying is fine and healthy, and it's taken me a few days to process what's, the news we got while I was in Houston. I still really haven't processed it well, but I figured I would get on here and do an update. I just got off the phone with my sister, so it was kind of fresh in my mind, and I feel like I can talk about it. And I'm in the car, which is kind of like my whoosah, like healing. It's my peaceful spot. So I figured while I'm sitting here, I will do an update with kind of as much foggy information as I have. But I just went back to Houston for my first 6-week follow-up, and then to get my next dose of immunotherapy. I feel like I need to stop going into appointments. I feel like I need to start going into appointments assuming the worst. So that if there's, if it's better than the worst, then we're pleasantly surprised. But instead, I went into this appointment just thinking the cancer was either going to be stable or maybe have shrunk. Like, it's been 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks. Not much could have changed in 6 weeks. And that is not the case. Thankfully, there's good news and bad news. There is some good news. The tumor that we were monitoring, the one that was sitting kind of up here on the base of my dura, pressing into my brain lining, that one has shrunk. That's the one that was there. That's the one that we were using the chemo that I was on out in Houston to shrink, get to a stable point, and then I was going to continue on immunotherapy to stay stable, or possibly even shrink the cancer activity, which it did there. However, there is new cancer growth not there. Thankfully, not anywhere else in my body, so it hasn't metastasized to another part of my body, my lungs. I got a CT of my chest, and then an MRI of my head, and everything up here. The CT scan showed that the pneumonia I had gotten while we were in Houston, it's clearing, it's healing, my lungs are healing, and there's no suspicion of cancer in my lungs. So they're monitoring my chest, because I guess my cancer can, when it spreads, I guess the first place it will spread is to somewhere in my chest and my lungs. And so they monitor that. I could be slightly off on that information, but I guess that's the theory. That would be the first place it goes. So they're monitoring my chest, and then they're monitoring, obviously where my cancer is in my face, and my sinuses. So the tumor that we were, worried about, it's shrinking. That's great. But there's new growth back in my sinuses, basically in the left part of my sinuses, kind of more like up here. Which isn't good. It means the immunotherapy isn't keeping it stable. Which is scary, because now it feels like every time I go, I'm going to hear that there's more growth. And it also means that I'm going to go back on chemo. And instead of going to Houston every 6 weeks, I will be going back every 3, which is, it just is what it is. But 6 weeks seems doable. 3 weeks seems like I should just move back to Houston. But it has been so healthy mentally, which turns into physically, for us to be home. So we're going to stay home, and I'll fly every 3 weeks now, unless that plan changes. That's what's not set in stone right now. Basically what happened was the two main doctors on my care team are out. One doctor is on paternity leave. The other was just in Asia at a conference. He's only gone for 2 weeks. So he's my, like ENT surgeon guy. My other doctor that's out is the oncologist. They're all oncologists, but, he's the, like, you know, the one that prescribes my chemo and my Keytruda and all that. But I met with basically his, I guess, superior. I met with a woman, and, you know, she is a great doctor, but she doesn't know my case yet personally. But she was like, you know, there's new growth. She recommends going back on chemo, different chemo, one that I had before when I was first diagnosed, called docetaxel, which is the one that makes me lose my hair. So I will be, if I go back on it, I will be losing my hair again. You know, no hair for Christmas. That'll be fun, but it's not like my hair is really, it's so thin right now. Like, this is my ponytail. It's the size of my pinky finger. So maybe it's just better to start fresh. Because when it's down, it looks crazy because, like, there's growth up here, so it's thick up here, but, like, super thin at the bottom. And so it just looks kind of crazy. So just start fresh. I mean, I guess if there's a positive spin I can put on it, taking care of a bald head is super easy. But yeah, it feels like we need to go in now, just always having the expectation that there's going to be more growth. And then when there's not, be happy about it. But it makes it scary because obviously, like, what I'm doing it's working. It's shrinking it, but then it comes back. It comes right back. As soon as I go off the chemo, it's back. Like 6 weeks. 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, it grew again. So we're looking into, she also mentioned clinical trials, which is great, but also scary because it's like they've run out of things that are working. And so they're looking into clinical trials. Babe found a clinical trial that when I get, we were late for preschool again this morning. So, not late. We were actually on time, but it meant I couldn't flush my face out because I knew if I did that, we would not make it on time. So I'm home, I'm going to flush my face, and then I'm going to go to a local coffee shop and fill out the information on the clinical trial that Babe found, to see if I would be a candidate for that. I actually need to read more information about it before I can explain anything about it, and probably won't explain unless I actually get in it. But there's that. They're going to look into clinical trials at MD Anderson. But right now, the plan is to go back in 3 weeks and start chemo. I have messaged them to ask if surgery is an option, what that looks like, because obviously my surgeon didn't get to see, you know, my other doctor was the ENT surgeon oncologist, and he was the one in Asia. But his PA scoped my nose. So I'm all over the place. We get into the room. It's me and my sister-in-law. Thank God she was with me because she was like her presence was the one I needed at that point. She was calm. She was, you know, so, she sits us down, tells us this is good, tells us this looks like more cancer growth, but because of all the changes in my face, she wants a scope. She wants the ENT to scope it to see if they basically agree that what she is seeing on the MRI that she believes is cancer is in fact, you know, they are in the consensus that it's cancerous as well. So I get scoped, and the PA agrees that she thinks what they're seeing is cancer, you know, tumor growth. But my husband, Babe, was on the phone, like we were on call with him, and he was like, we want a biopsy. They couldn't do the biopsy there in the office because of just the location and the bleeding. They want me in an operating room, and they want, my surgeon to be the one to do it if we even need a biopsy. So she went and showed the video to the ENT surgeon that was there, somebody else on the team, and they also agreed that they think, they don't feel like they need a biopsy to confirm that they believe it's tumor and cancer growth. It would just be, the biopsy would really be for us to get that confirmation. So we are going to wait until we hear from, his name is Dr. Hannah, but he's the one that's been on my team. He's the one that's out of town, but he's like working, he's working remotely while he's at the conference. So they were going to send the video to him, have him look at it, and, give his opinion on if he thinks it's tumor growth, which I'm assuming, his counterpart said it was. So I'm assuming his answer will be the same. But, he might say, yeah, let's do a biopsy just to confirm. But if he doesn't think a biopsy is the safest option and it's safer to just move forward with starting chemo, that's probably what we'll do. Because, where my cancer is, it is in a risky area no matter where they do it. So a biopsy, it's such a small, it feels big to me. Like I feel there's something huge growing in my face, even though I can't feel it. I've been having the headaches, but to me it feels like such a big thing that's in there. Like, can't you just go and snip a little bit? But really it's small when you're thinking about like cutting on something surgically just to get the confirmation that it is cancer, which they already believe, when it could nick something that could cause a big issue. And so we're just dealing with that balance. So yeah, that was the news. That's the update. I don't really have much more than that because I was just in such a fog, and there's, she's new to my case. So I don't even know how many cycles of chemo it would be. I don't know what that'll look like. I'm waiting to hear more information on that. So when I know that, I'll share that information, that update. But I just left, I just was not expecting it. I left, I went and got my Keytruda infusion, and then I got on a plane, because we were flying out that night. My infusion was supposed to be at 10. I didn't get to my infusion till 12:30. I was worried I was going to miss my flight. Thankfully, I did not. But yeah, I went straight from the hospital to the airport, and my brain has just not wanted to think about it. My sweet mom, she wants to know all the things. She wants to know all the things, which I get, but I didn't even have an answer to all the things, and she's asking me questions, and I'm just like, I had to tell her, Mom, I can't talk about this right now. So yeah, that's where we're at. So otherwise, I'm feeling good. Like, I have energy. The girl slept in a big girl bed she slept in a big girl bed another time, but she slept in a big girl bed, and she's officially going to be graduating from her crib. So that is both, happy and sad. This is bittersweet. To think I don't have a baby in a crib anymore. I have a big girl sleeping in her big girl bed. So otherwise I'm feeling good. I feel energetic. I feel, even with all this, I still, feel hopeful. I feel like, I'm still trusting that God, there's things I don't see. There's things I don't know. We're obviously God is kind of keeping us here in this situation right now, and he's with me through all of it. It can be hard to not be angry about that, because I'm like, if you're with me, can't we be done? Can't we be done? But it's not, you know, he knows things and he sees things that I don't see. So I'm trying to be at peace with that. I just feel like we went from like, you know, it changed so quickly, and now it's been this like 2-year journey that we're still on. And I know that, like, I think when you're first diagnosed with cancer, you think, okay, I'm diagnosed with cancer, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get in remission and it's going to be done. But that's not how cancer works. Once you're diagnosed with cancer, whether you're in remission, I feel like, or not, cancer is always going to be a part of you. It's changed you forever in ways that, you know, you can't reverse. So it's just something you learn. It's a new normal. But I just feel like we went from like 0 to 60 so fast. And then instead of going from 0 to 60 and getting to our destination and stopping and turning around and going back down to 0, instead I feel like we've gone from 0 to 60, and then we're slowly increasing speed to get us like over a mountain that we can't even see what's on the other side of, you know. Just keep getting, you know, we just keep getting hit's not the right word, but kind of, you know, we get that news and it's just another uphill climb. So yeah, I guess I'm going to end there. You know, like I said, we're looking into clinical trials. We're going to look into, I haven't, you know, people mention ivermectin and fenbendazole or whatever, which we've considered. I'm going to go do more research on that this afternoon, but I'm pretty sure I may start doing ivermectin in conjunction with my traditional, you know, the traditional plan from the doctors, just because we're, you know, the chemo is shrinking it, but then it's coming back. So we need to look into other alternatives that may stop it from doing that. That'll shrink it and it'll stay shrunk and stay stable. So, which is welcome prayers that we get to that point, and can stop getting cancer growth news every couple times we go for a rescan or an update. I'm just sorry. Okay. Sometimes you just have to scream. Yeah, but it's getting warm in the car, so I'm gonna go do my thing, and I will come back when I have more of an update. This was like an all over the place update that really doesn't have much of a definitive like next step process until we fully, you know, say that this is what we're doing. But right now it looks like it's chemo. So don't know how to end this video, so I'm just gonna say bye. Thank you for all your continued support. It means a lot to us.